The previous one was the size of a football field. This one is the size of Manhattan Island. It's quite a difference, and you would expect many more of the small ones.
Until now, 3I/Atlas remains an enigma far too strange. It's seemingly defying every familiar pattern of astrophysics. 3I/Atlas, a colossal beast, hardly any other interstellar object comes close. Recently, in a study using over 4,000 individual photometric measurements from 227 observatories worldwide, Professor Avi Loeb's astronomy team at Harvard University had a rare opportunity to determine the size of this object. On August 6, 2025, under the sharp gaze of the James Webb Space Telescope, scientists made one of the most concrete and revealing measurements of 3I/Atlas until now. For the first time, scientists have managed to measure with precision how much material the object sheds and the speed at which it escapes into space during its passage through the solar system. When these data were compared with earlier observations showing the object's very slight non-gravitational acceleration, only about 15 meters per day squared, a clearer picture began to emerge. The numbers are staggering. 3I/Atlas must have a mass of at least 33 billion tons. This, in turn, implies a core size of over 5 kilometers across, an immense interstellar traveler. If we could bring Oumuamua back and place it beside 3I/Atlas, the comparison would be absurd. A mere ant standing next to an elephant. The ant would vanish from sight, dwarfed beyond recognition by the towering giant beside it. Yes, you heard that right. 3I/Atlas is truly thousands of times larger than our first interstellar visitor. It carries the weight of mysteries far greater than the riddles its predecessor left behind. Oumuamua, a messenger from afar arriving first, was first spotted by Canadian Robert Werrick using the Pan-STARRS telescope at Haleakala Observatory, Hawaii, on the 19th of October 2017, when it was already on its way out of the solar system. Calculations later showed that its perihelion passage, its closest approach to the Sun, had actually occurred more than a month earlier, on September 9th. That means we only glimpsed this mysterious traveler as it was already leaving for interstellar space. The data was far too little. Scientists could not pin down its true shape or size. All we truly possess are science-driven speculations. Oumuamua, that mysterious visitor from beyond our solar system, is believed to have been elongated like a cigar, somewhere between 100 and 200 meters in length, with a width barely a fraction of that. However, when it comes to its inner composition, our knowledge hits a wall. There are no concrete data points, no definitive answers. Stranger still, it displayed signs of acceleration consistent with outgassing, yet no jets of material were ever seen, no glowing coma, no tail like a comet should have. It defied the very categories scientists tried to place it in. Was it simply a bizarre shard of interstellar rock shaped by forces we don't yet understand? Or was it something far more profound? An engineered probe, quietly gliding past us on its own agenda? In the end, Oumuamua remains less an answer than a riddle written across the sky. No one knows. The numbers don't lie. One thing is clear: 3I/Atlas is an entirely different beast. Based on its motion and mass estimates, it could be hundreds of thousands of times larger than Oumuamua. Perhaps Oumuamua was nothing more than a smaller ship, an outpost, belonging to the mothership system of Atlas. Oumuamua was too small, just fleeting like a shadow that slipped past us, leaving behind only scraps of data. Enough to fuel endless speculation. Now, before us occurs a colossal city in flight. Yes, It is 3I Atlas. Not just a drifting stone, not the frozen shell of a comet, but something infinitely greater. An enormous construct gliding with silent determination through the cosmic sea. It moves among stars and planets with uncanny accuracy, as though following a deliberate path rather than the randomness of nature. From the far reaches of the galaxy, it has crossed distances unimaginable, arriving at our solar system, an ancient realm still cloaked in enigmas. Here, it appears not simply as a passerby, but as a harbinger, bearing secrets yet to be unveiled. Such an enormous object retaining a perfectly stable trajectory, despite losing material along the path. Something is really wrong here. Likely no ordinary comet here. Its orbit isn't budging. Its path remains rock steady, almost unnaturally so. This raises a provocative question. Is its enormous mass simply overwhelming the forces of outgassing, or is there something more at play? Whatever the cause, the measurement changes everything. 3I Atlas is no longer just a strange interstellar rock. It is now one of modern astronomy's greatest enigmas, and perhaps the strongest candidate yet for alien technology. 3I Atlas doesn't behave like a normal comet. It behaves as if it were built to sustain life. When scientists piece together the riddles scattered across interstellar space, a faint trail begins to appear. A possible answer to the question, what is 3I Atlas? The wow. Signal remains the deepest enigma, but it may also be the sharpest clue. On August 15, 1977, astronomer Jerry Amon detected a mysterious 72-second burst of radio waves at the Big Ear Telescope in Ohio. So unusual he marked it with wow. Ever since, the wow signal has stood as one of astronomy's most enduring mysteries. The signal, coming from right ascension, RA, 19 hours 25 minutes, declination, DEC, minus 27 degrees, similar to longitude and latitude, had no clear source yet appeared near the 1420 MHz hydrogen line, often considered a prime frequency for interstellar communication. But here's the twist. Just 3 days earlier, on August 12, 1977, the interstellar object 3I Atlas passed nearby in the sky at right ascension, 19 hours 40 minutes. Declination minus 19 degrees. The two alignments were only a few degrees apart, a coincidence with merely a 0.6% probability. In other words, extremely rare.
And I checked it. Turns out that it came from about the same direction in the sky as 3I Atlas, within 9 degrees. And the chance for a random alignment of the two directions of 9 degrees or so is 0.6%.
An object weighing 33 billion tons, born from the interstellar void, cuts through the darkness at nearly 61 kilometers per second. With such mass and monstrous scale, even the slightest collision would unleash a shockwave of staggering force. No follow-up signals have been confirmed, but the eerie alignment of time, place, and scale binds Atlas to the wow signal. If the wow signal came from 3I Atlas, the implications are staggering. At approximately 600 astronomical units away, its source would need 0.5 to 2 gigawatts of power. That is the same power generated by a large nuclear power plant on Earth. That could explain why 3I Atlas is an early active comet, able to flare to life even when still more than 6 astronomical units away, nearly 900 million kilometers from the Sun, not yet impacted by solar heat. If this hypothesis is true, perhaps Amon's red ink didn't mark a fleeting anomaly, but the first faint whisper of something far larger still approaching. Could that mysterious sound actually be a message, using the hydrogen frequency to communicate across the stars? And that it was 3I Atlas itself sending out a signal, calling back to its mothership? 3I Atlas is not only thousands of times more massive than Oumuamua in size, but also 100,000 times more colossal in the mysteries it carries, extending far beyond mere size or scale. 3I Atlas now reveals the possibility of communication, signals exchanged between intelligences that do not belong to Earth. An extraordinary story, the very kind of discovery scientists have been tirelessly pursuing for decades. Oumuamua shocked the understanding that we thought was an immense awareness. A sliver of something alien that slipped through our solar system too fast and too quietly for us to grasp. But 3I Atlas, a vast, half-mile wide body, is exponentially more disruptive. Its physical mass is dwarfed only by the weight of questions it forces upon us. If the strange behaviors and signals we've seen are not random but deliberate, then what we are witnessing is no longer passive observation. It is interaction. A sign that the universe may not be silent at all, but speaking in a language we have only just begun to detect. Can we decode a signal that was never meant for us? The question is no longer just what 3I Atlas is, but whether we should respond or remain silent observers of something far larger than ourselves. This is precisely the kind of discovery that generations of scientists have been pursuing. Elusive evidence suggesting that we are not alone. It is the sort of revelation that stirs not only the intellect, but also the emotions, not just of the great scientific minds, but of all of us who follow their work with wonder. The sheer colossality of this third interstellar visitor has ignited equally colossal hypotheses across the global scientific community and among space enthusiasts worldwide. Perhaps its true nature will only be explained after the fact. For now, 3I/Atlas leaves us with the unsettling realization that we should have been able to predict its arrival. But in truth, we could not.